back with Harry Potter and the Chamber of the Secrets. Now I will start Chapter 1, The Worst Birthday. Not for the first time, an argument had broken out over breakfast at number 4 Private Drive. Mr. Vernon Dursley had been woken in the early hours of the morning by a loud hooting noise from the new pew's Harry's room. "Third time this week!" he roared across the table. "If you can't control that owl, it'll have a go." Harry tried yet again to explain. "She is bored," he said. She used to flying around outside. If I could just let her out at night." "Do I look stupid?" sneered Uncle Vernon, a bit of fried egg dangling from his bushy mustache. "I know what'll happen if that owl's let out." He exchanged dark looks with his wife, Petunia. Harry tried to argue back, but his words had drowned by a long, loud belch from the Dursley's son Dudley. "I want more bacon." "There's more in the frying pan, Sweetums," said Aunt Petunia, turning misty eyes on her massive son. "We must build you up while we've got the chance. I don't like the sound of that school food." "Nonsense, Petunia. I never went hungry when I was at Smaltings," said Uncle Vernon hurriedly. "Dudley's got enough, don't you, son?" Dudley, who was so large his bottom drooped over either side of the kitchen chair, grinning, and turned to Harry. "Pass the frying pan." "You forget the magic word," said Harry irritably. The effect of the simple sentence on the rest of the family was incredible. Dudley gasped and fell off his chair with a crash that shook the whole kitchen. Mrs. Dudley gave a small scream and clapped her hands to her mouth. Mr. Dudley jumped to his feet, Vince dropping his tablets. "I meant please," said Harry quickly. "I didn't meant—" "What have I told you?" thundered his uncle, spraying spit over the table. "About saying the M word in our house." "But how dare you threaten Dudley?" roared Uncle Vernon, pounding the table with his fist. I warned you, I will not tolerate mention of your abnormality under the roof." Harry stared from his purple-faced uncle and his pale aunt, who was trying to heave Dudley to his feet. "All right," said Harry, "all right." Uncle Vernon sat back down, breathing like a wild rhinoceros, and watching Harry closely out of the corners of his small, sharp eyes. Ever since Harry had come home for the summer holidays, Uncle Vernon had been treating him like a bomb that might go off at any moment because Harry Potter wasn't a normal boy. As a matter of fact, he was not normal as it is possible to be. Harry Potter was a wizard fresh from his first year at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. And if the Dudleys were unhappy to have him back for the holidays, it was nothing to how Harry felt. He missed Hogwarts so much. It was like having a constant stomach. He missed the castle with its secret passage and ghosts, his class, though perhaps not Snape, the potion master, the mail arriving by owls, eating banquets in the great hall, sleeping in his four-postered bed in the tower dormitory, visiting the gamekeeper Hagrid in his cabin next to the Forbidden Forest in the grounds, and especially Quidditch, the most popular sport in the Wizarding world. 6 tall goalposts, 4 flying balls, and 14 players on the broomsticks. All Harry's spellbooks, his wand, robe, cauldron, and top-of-the-line Nimbus 2000 broomstick had been locked in the cupboard under the stairs by Uncle Vernon. The instant Harry had come home. What did the Dursleys care if Harry lost his place on the house Quidditch team because he hadn't practiced all summer? What was it to the Dursleys if Harry went back to school without any of his homework done? The Dursleys were what wizards call muggle, not a drop of magical blood in their veins, and as they were concerned, having a wizard in the family was a matter of deepest shame. Uncle Vernon had ever padlocked Harry's owls, Hedwig, inside her cage to stop her from carrying messages to anyone in the wizard world. Harry looked nothing like the rest of the family. Uncle Vernon was large and necklace with an enormous black moustache. Aunt Petunia had a forced face and body. Dudley was blonde, pink, and porky. Harry, on the other hand, was small and skinny, with brilliant green eyes and jet black hair that was always untidy. He wore round glasses, and on his forehead was a thin, lightning-shaped scar. It was this scar that made Harry so particularly unusual, even for a wizard. This scar was the only hint of Harry's very mysterious part of the reason he had been left on the Dursleys' doorstep 11 years before. At the age of 1 year old, Harry had somehow survived a curse from the greatest sorcerers of all time, Lord Voldemort, whose name most witches and wizards still feared to speak. Harry's parents had died in Voldemort's attack, but Harry had escaped with his lightning scar, and somehow nobody understood why Voldemort's power had been destroyed the instant he had failed to kill Harry. So Harry had been brought up by his dead mother's sister and her husband. He had spent 10 years with the Dursleys, never understanding why he kept making odd things happen without meaning to, believing the Dursley story that he had gotten his scar in the car crash that had killed their parents. And then, exactly a year ago, Hogwarts had written to Harry, and the whole story had come out. Harry had taken up his place at Wizard School, where he and his scars were famous. But now the school year was over, and he was back with the Dursleys from this summer, back to being treated like a dog had rolled in something smelly. The Dursleys hadn't even remembered that today happened to be Harry's 12th birthday. Of course, his hopes hadn't been high. They'd never given him a real present, let alone a cake, but to ignore it completely. At the moment, Uncle Vernon cleared his throat importantly and said, "Now, as we all know, today is a very important day." Harry looked up, hardly daring to believe it. "This could be the day I make biggest deal of my career," said Uncle Vernon. Harry went back to his toast. Of course, he thought bitterly. Uncle Vernon was talking about this stupid dinner party. He'd been talking of nothing else for 2 weeks. Some rich builder and his wife were coming to dinner, and Uncle Vernon was hoping to get a huge order from him. Uncle Vernon's company made drills. I think we should run through the schedule one more time, said Uncle Vernon. We should all be in positions at 8 o'clock. Petunia, you will be in the lounge, said Aunt Petunia promptly, waiting to welcome them graciously to our home. Good, good. And Dudley, I'll be waiting to open the door. Dudley put on a foul, simpering smile. May I take your coats, Miss and Mr. Mason? They love him, cried Aunt Petunia rapidly. Excellent, Dudley, said Uncle Vernon. Then he rounded on Harry. And you? I'll be in my bedroom making a noise and pretending I'm not there, said Harry tonelessly. Exactly, said Uncle Vernon lastly. I will lead them into the lounge, introduce you, Petunia, and pour them drinks. At 8:15, I'll announce dinner, said Aunt Petunia, and Dudley, you'll say, May I take you through the dining room, Mrs. Mason? Said Dudley, offering his fat arm to an invisible woman. My perfect little gentleman, sniffed Aunt Petunia. And you, said Uncle Vernon viciously to Harry. I'll be in my room making a noise and pretending I'm not there, said Harry dully, preciously. Now we should aim to get a few good compliments at dinner. Petunia, any ideas? Vernon tells me you're a wonderful golfer, Mr. Mason. Do tell me where you bought your dress, Mrs. Mason. Perfect, Dudley. How about we had to write an essay about our hero at school, Mr. Mason, and I wrote about you. This was too much for both Aunt Petunia and Harry. Aunt Petunia burst into tears and hugged her son, while Harry ducked under the table so they wouldn't see him laughing. And you, boy? Harry thought to keep his face straight, and he emerged. I'll be in my room, making no noise and pretending I'm not there, he said. Too right you will, said Uncle Vernon forcefully. The Masons don't know anything about you, and it's going to stay that way. When dinner's over, you take Mrs. Mason back to lunch for coffee, Petunia, and I'll bring the subject around to drills. With any luck, I'll have the deal signed and sealed before the news at 10. We'll be shopping for a vacation home in Majorca this time tomorrow. Harry couldn't feel too excited about this. He didn't think the Dursleys would like him any better in Majorca than they did on Private Drive. Right, I'm off into town to pick up the dinner jackets for Dudley and me. And you, he snarled at Harry, you stay out of your aunt's way while she's cleaning. Harry laughed through the back door. It was a brilliant sunny day. He crossed the lawn, slumped down the garden bench, and sang underneath his breath, Happy birthday to me, happy birthday to me. No cards, no presents, and he would be spending the evening pretending not to exist. He gazed miserably into the hatch. He had never felt so lonely, more than anything else at Hogwarts, more even than playing Quidditch. Harry missed the best friends Ron Weasley and Hermione Granger. They, however, didn't seem to be missing him at all. Neither of them had written to him at summer, even though Ron had said he was going to ask Harry to come and stay.